Hello buddy and welcome to episode 6 of Berrysville. The plan for today's episode is to make the main street. So this is where the shops and stores are gonna go, and this is also gonna be like the center point of the town. So this is located on the, well, it's gonna be called Main Street now, but it's on the same road which leads out to the highway. So the road we worked around in the first episode, where the gas stations are, the new ones, not the abandoned ones. So it's that road, just a little bit further down. And just sort of regarding that, I will add some like overview cinematics and stuff, and maybe also in the live gameplay, because I've got some comments about that, because it seemed like people want to see where exactly everything is, which I totally understand. So I'll make sure to include some of that in the cinematics, and I'll get better on like remembering, on trying to remember that on like every single episode, so you get a better idea of where stuff is. But yeah, anyway, so I'm using these buildings by Exurbanite, and these look just amazing. But I wish there were like a few more of them, because I think there are like 6 or 7 of these, like different variations. When I like downloaded these and sort of was planning this, I thought it would look sort of repetitive with all of these buildings, because I couldn't really find any like more, like only 1 story or like max 2-story buildings. I used like some warehouses by King Leno as well a little bit later on, but these were my main buildings for this. So I thought I would struggle to make them look different from each other. But as you can see here, I'm using all of these awnings, which look great, and they actually help a lot to make these buildings look a little bit different from each other. So I'm still using like the same building a few times. But yeah, I think these awnings make it look pretty good. And you can see I'm putting down some hardware signs here, just like 2 hardware stores next to each other. I will actually get rid of this like bigger one here, because we have the one on the corner there, the hardware store. And I think it's Barth that suggested the story for like the first motel we did. If you remember that, there were the hardware salesman that traveled on Route 66. He wrote in, I can't remember which episode, but he wrote that he would come up with some new story if we did a hardware store on the main street. So in case you're watching this, Barth, feel free to come up with a story for this hardware store as well. So I thought it was really cool to add some hardware like awnings or signs here, because I sort of thought about that story for the motel. So yeah, I wanted to have a hardware store there. I'm putting down some of those planks over the windows there, because I still wanted to get the like sort of feel of a little bit of like abandoned stores and stuff. But I still don't want to make like this whole main street totally abandoned, because I don't think that would be really realistic, because I'm putting a lot of inspiration from Shamrock, of course. And all of the stores there are definitely not abandoned. There are probably a few that are abandoned, but it definitely seems like there is still like life going on there. And yeah, so I guess we could sort of talk a little bit about the term Main Street. So usually like refers to where life happens in small towns, so where people go and do their errands and stuff. So I think this was really cool, and this is definitely something I wanted to do in like this small like American town. So I think it's cool, and as I said, I won't make this place like totally abandoned, because I just don't think it would make sense. But this little back alley here, I think turned out pretty cool. I looked on the other side of those stores in Shamrock, and it sort of looked like that. Had like a back alley with some like power lines, and yeah, it looked pretty rough, but pretty cool as well. So I did something similar like that. But now I'm putting down these sort of diagonal parking lots, and they're actually not functional. So I go ahead and place some prop cars a little bit later on. I could have probably used the like there are some working parking spots for these yellow parkings, but I didn't really want to use those because I believe the cars sort of float when you put down those, because the roads are more sunken down. So I decided to just use these decals and put down the cars myself, and I think it turned out pretty good. I'm not using too many props because I'm just putting down like a few vehicles on those spots. Also putting down these lines here, making some more parking spots on the actual street, because that was something I also got inspiration from Shamrock, because it sort of had those parking spots, and I believe it's a pretty common design for these sort of roads. But the cars actually don't line up perfectly with those lines I put there, so it probably looks a little bit weird sometimes, but I think it still looks pretty cool. So as you can see, I've been using like sort of the same buildings for like a few times, and I still think they look pretty cool, because I'm using these awnings and stuff. So let me know what you think about that. I definitely don't think it looks repetitive, but yeah, as I said, let me know. Wanted to talk a little bit about the last episode, so thanks a lot for all the Airfield stories. There were a lot of great ones, and actually a bunch of them, so thanks a lot for those. We will get into the most upvoted of them a little bit later on, or I guess in a few minutes, but also wanted to mention that a lot of people said that I should add like a big X on the runway, because it's an abandoned runway, and all of those usually have a big X, so airplanes know that they shouldn't land there. And that was definitely something I knew before, but I just totally like didn't think of it when I built the runway. And yeah, a lot of people commented that I should add a big X on the runway, or I guess two of them in each side. So that is something I thought of doing in the live gameplay in today's episode, so stay tuned for that. And also a lot of people said that I should make the farm bigger, like we did in the last episode, and it totally makes sense, because some people talked about the like crop duster would be like done with that in a few seconds, because the farm was so small, and that totally makes sense. So I will also go ahead and expand it a little bit more in the live gameplay. I think it will look a lot better then. But back to what I'm doing on screen. Putting down some more just residential homes on the other side of these stores. So like in the first place, I wasn't really sure what to put behind these stores. So once again, I looked in Shamrock and sort of wanted to get some inspiration on what there was behind these stores. And I just saw that there were just normal residential buildings. So that was exactly what I decided to put down there. But I think I'll get into the stories from the last episode, the Airfield story, and I think we have a story for the farm as well. But I just wanted to remind you this before we get into the stories. I have a website that I talked about in like 2 episodes ago, in episode 4 I think. So I have a website for Berrysville where I put up all of these stories after every single episode. So definitely feel free and go and check that out. It will be really cool if you guys left some feedback, if I should change something on the website. I think it looks pretty cool, and I think it's great to have like a place where we could sort of collect all of these stories, and you can just easily go in there and read on whatever we've built. So yeah, that will be in the description, so definitely make sure to take a look at that if you haven't already. But yeah, as I said, let's get into the story segment of today's episode. In early 1942, a small training airfield was built for the rapidly expanding US Army Air Corps just a few months after the Pearl Harbor attack. The airfield was named after Ira Clarence Eaker, a general of the United States Army Air Forces during World War II. The area around the airfield was expanded with buildings. From that time until the late 1960s, it was used by various Air Force squadrons, training their flying capabilities. In the late 1960s, the Air Force sold the airfield and nearby grounds to the local township called Berrysville, which in turn sold off pieces of land to farmers and other entrepreneurs. For a while, the airfield was used by local farmers for crop dusting, but hard times and subsequent low income resulted in the airfield being abandoned. Miles Huntington used to own the farm, and he was a businessman that sold bread for Berrysville. One day, his son came back from school when Miles suffered a stroke. He had a rare disease and was rushed to Dallas, where doctors told him he had 20 days left to live, or that is what they thought. Miles secretly was paid for giving money to swindlers and made up the story to trick people. When police stormed into the farm, a long battle was fought, Miles versus the police. Meanwhile, TV stations got the battle live. Miles was eventually arrested and is now in North Dakota working as a rancher. His wife took over the farm and runs Marie Farms, a big producer of bread in North Texas. Thank you so much to Chris Ofkes for suggesting the story for the airfield, and also thank you so much to Ruos for suggesting the story for the farm. So now I've been just working on putting down some of these blah 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 asphalt here on the roads, just to sort of make them look complete, as I usually do. But I guess the main thing we're working on here is the bank. So I decided to put down a bank here, because I mean, this town would probably need one, and it seems like in a lot of these towns there usually seem to be a bank. So yeah, I'm putting down this one, once again taking a lot of inspiration from the one in Shamrock. But I'm doing this like sort of diagonal parking there as well, which I really like. It's something a little bit different. I first thought about just using the normal parking lots, which you get in the parking lot roads pack. But I sort of wanted to use like some yellow parking spots and sort of have them on an angle. I thought that would sort of look more interesting and a little bit more unique, and I think it turned out great. But as I said a little bit earlier on in this episode, there aren't any cars parking there, so I'll just have to put them down myself. But that drive-through there, those cars are like sort of floating, so that kind of sucks that they're doing that. But it's only because of the like parking lot road. But I think it's fine. I don't think you notice that too much. But I'm using these planters over here, and I thought they looked good, but I decided that I wanted to use like the mulch planters instead, by King Leno, or both of these I think are by King Leno, but I wanted to use these like brown ones instead. I thought it would sort of fit more the theme, instead of just have green grass there in the middle of everything. Because most of this like town and map and stuff is not like green grass anywhere, so I just decided that it would make more sense to have those I guess dirt planters instead. But now I'm just copying these parking lots, just putting them all around the bank. And I actually really like how this bank turned out. I did a lot of like ultra detailing, I guess you could say here, because I'm using a bunch of these like curbs, just like really small touches everywhere. And this is sort of the detailing I really like. I think this is super fun to do this, so in case you haven't tried making like something ultra detailed, I definitely recommend you trying it, because it's actually a lot of fun when you do it a few times and you sort of get a hang of it. So this is definitely my favorite kind of way to play this game. Just do like ultra detailing. I think it's super fun, because you can just make it however you want in this game at this point, because there's just so much stuff you can just put down. But yeah, anyway, so there might be some of you that ask if I will put down like a city hall or town hall, whatever. And that will happen, I think, because I thought about doing it in this episode, putting down like a town hall, but I couldn't really find any like good fitting ones for this place. Most of them were like just a little bit too big, and they sort of didn't really fit this theme, because a lot of these towns seem to have something like that, or at least like the main town in a county, I guess. So that is definitely something I want to do. I just need to find an asset for it. And something else that I will do, that I actually have an asset for, is to also put down a post office. Because, I mean, like all of these towns have post offices. Because I think like a lot of these places started out with like a post office, and then they started building like houses and stuff around it. And I think that is at least a pretty common like story with these towns. They started out around like a post office. So that is definitely something I would do. I just didn't get around to it in this episode, but we'll definitely do that. But I'm just putting down some of these posters, or yeah, sound signs or whatever, but I'm also putting down some graffiti. So this was actually suggested a few episodes back, that I should put down some graffiti, and I finally got around to do it on these stores here. So I don't know if it like would be like totally realistic. I mean, it depends, but I think this looks realistic with all of these posters and graffiti here. Maybe it's a bit too much, I don't know, you'll have to let me know how you think it looks. But I think it looks pretty cool. And also wanted to just talk a little bit about another suggestion for the airfield from the last episode that I forgot to mention in the first part of this one. And that is that I should put a fence around the whole airfield. So just wanted to let you know that we will be doing that in the live gameplay as well. So thanks a lot for that suggestion. I can't remember who suggested it, but I I think, it was Smiling Spaceman who suggested that. So thanks so much, but we're getting into making this fire station now. This has been suggested, and it's something I've been wanting to do as well. I actually combined these two fire stations. I'm not sure what they're called, but like just one of them turned out a little bit too small. So that's why I decided to just combine them and like put a shed in there to sort of cover up those doors, whatever. But I think this turned out pretty cool. I kind of like this asset. It might be a little bit too like overexposed, but I still think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, there are a few like seconds or whatever left of the time lapse, and then we'll jump into some live gameplay. So enjoy some music now, and I'll see you there. So now we're in the live gameplay, and my plans are just to go around and show a little bit about what we did, and then just implement some new stuff for the airfield. So that's what our plans here, and I guess we could just start off by looking at this whole street here. So this is like the size of it. I just wanted to have like 2 blocks like this. I don't want to continue it even more like out here, because like this city, I should say town, this town is not going to be big, so I think this is just perfect for the main street. So this is how it looks. Just have all of these stores here, and as you can see, like most of them doesn't really look like too abandoned, but then we have like some planks here over like the windows. I tried to put some planks, and we also have like these warehouses here which sort of look almost abandoned, and yeah, but I think also we have maybe some planks over the windows on this side. Yeah, we have one more like plank there. I think I might add some more, I don't know, but you'll have to let me know if I should get more like planks into this to these like buildings, or if I should just leave it like it is. Yeah, I'm pretty happy how this whole main street turned out. I'm not sure where I will place the town hall, like either like on this side or this side, because I want it to be pretty close to the center, and also the post office somewhere here as well. So those are the plans. I guess I can give you an overview here. This is how the whole town looks. This is of course where we started off in the first episode, all of this. We continued down here, and this is like where the main street is. So this is gonna be like the center point of the whole town. So the town is not going to be like big at all, like max the same amount of stuff on this side as it is on this side, and then like maybe 2 blocks more down here. So that's sort of going to be the size of the town. Just wanted to let you know that, because a lot of people have been asking for overviews and stuff, so now you kind of know where this is and what the plans are. But yeah, this is the fire station here, which I think turned out pretty cool. It looks pretty unique in my opinion, because I combined these buildings with each other, and I'm actually super happy how this ended up. And then we of course have the bank here, which is also pretty nice. It looks pretty clean for this town, I guess, but I tried to add some like crack decals and stuff on the ground here, and I've added all of these cars here, so they're just props, and I added like on every single parking spot here, so I think that looks pretty nice. And then we of course have these alleys behind here, which are pretty interesting, and then just some more like houses on the back here. A lot of like small details and stuff in this episode, so yeah, not huge progress, but I think it's pretty good. But now I wanted to go in and do a thing that was suggested a lot of times in the last episode, and that is to add some or 2 crosses on this runway to show that it is abandoned. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Haven't really tried this, so this will sort of be the first time I'm doing this cross here. I don't know if this will like turn out good. We'll probably have to work a lot with move it like this. We'll have to move it over here and then sort of adjust it after the runway. So I think if I don't really know how like or when they start. I think they just start like right here. Doesn't look like this is too centered, but I think it should be fine when we do something with these as well. And then I can just go ahead and copy this to the other side. I think that looks quite alright. And then I sort of want to line up this this with that one like this. I think that should be pretty decent. Then I think I might go ahead and sort of sink this whole thing down. Because like I don't want these lines to be like, to look really new and like painted like yesterday. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. I think it should be, or maybe the whole like cross is a little bit smaller. Yeah, I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller actually. I don't know, I wanted to do some more live gameplay for today's episode. It seemed like some people enjoyed it from the last one, sort of seeing me building live as well. I don't know if I will continue doing this, I don't know if people like it, but I decided to do it for this one as well. No, I think this looks pretty good. I think that's quite alright. I could perhaps move it a little bit to the left. I mean, this is why I don't do like live gameplay for a whole episode, because it would just take ages to get stuff done. So that's why I'm obviously doing time lapses. But I think something like this, I think that's fine. And then I'll just go ahead and copy this whole thing, and we'll just put it on this side as well. I think like down here. So I think this should look pretty good. Just want to get it centered like this. Yeah, I think that's fine. So I put down this whole fence around the whole airfield, and also I expanded the farm a bit. So this whole fence, I used the broken fence by Ronix. I think this like fit the best for this airfield. Then I just went in and sort of got rid of some parts and put these like more broken ones and like more open like these. So it really looks like the fence is like totally destroyed and people have sort of broken into the airfield or whatever. So I just did some detailing like this, just open up in a few places, and I think it turned out pretty alright here as well. And I tried to do it on like more of the spots where you would like most likely look, so I didn't really do anything out here. But if we like continue expanding out here, I will probably do some more here. Yeah, so the fence sort of goes to this place, and like I don't think it would make sense to put a gate over here or whatever, because I mean this airfield isn't that big, so I think it's totally fine to just have a fence like this. And I think it works well, so let me know what you think. But then I also expanded the farm quite a bit. So I think the farm like ended somewhere here before, so this was the farm before, and now I just expanded all of this, and I think this is a pretty good size for the farm. I'm actually not sure if they would like use like crop dusters or whatever on a farm like this. I mean, it depends on what they're growing, but like I don't think this is too small to use a crop duster. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I think this is a good size for the farm, and I hope you guys like it as well. So thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like, it helps a lot. And also make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel. And let me know what you thought about today's episode with the main street. And yeah, follow me on Twitter as well to get some updates and teasers and stuff like that. As I said, this is gonna do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, have a great day, and bye bye.